From inside the Lloyd Noble Center, a top 10 matchup in women's college gymnastics. Number 7 Michigan visiting number 1 Oklahoma alongside Olympian and Sooner legend Kelly Garrison Funderburg. I'm Meg McDonald. Kelly, the last time these two teams saw each other, it came down to the last event, and the Sooners clinched it by less than 1/10 of a point. What do you think of this matchup tonight?
Oh, I think it's going to be really exciting to watch because this is the Sooners' toughest competitor so far at home this season. So it's going to show us what they're made out of. And there's lots of different gymnasts to watch, not just from the OU team, the Maggie Nichols, we're used to watching her as a star, but also Michigan has a great gymnast to watch, Paige Zazinski. And so each of them are going to bring their own highlights of their gymnastics.
The rankings just started to be determined by the regional qualifying, the RQS. So can you break it down for us a little bit, Kelly?
Certainly. The score is calculated by the team's 6 best regular season scores, and 3 of those scores must be away scores. They take the top score and eliminate it, and then the other 5 remaining scores are averaged. And the reason they do this is to determine the seeding for the 6 NCAA regional competitions, which will lead them into qualifying for the national championships.
Tonight's OU Medicine Sooner to watch made her all-around debut just last week, Nicole Lehrman. What do you like about this gymnast?
Honestly, I like everything about this gymnast. She has great technique. She is very calm and cool under pressure, and she just has beautiful body lines.
Coming up next, Oklahoma on the vault, Michigan on bars. When we come back, you are watching Sooner Women's Gymnastics presented by OU Medicine.
Sooners Sports TV is brought to you by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. OU Extended Campus. Degrees online, on campus, on your schedule. Become the tradition. Riverwind Resort. Still the one. And Red Carpet Charters, the official motor coach carrier of OU Athletics.
Inside the Lloyd Noble Center. Before each event, we're going to take a look at the sports science behind that specific event. Here's the first sports science tonight behind vault, featuring Brenna Dow.
Oklahoma's Brenna Dowell begins the vault with a run-up reaching a top velocity of over 16 miles per hour. This momentum helps Brenna launch her 5-foot 3-inch body over 11 feet into the air. Once airborne, Brenna draws her arms closer to her body, which speeds up her rotation. This enables her to spin 540 degrees along her y-axis and 540 degrees along her z-axis for a total of 1,080 degrees in less than 1 second, traveling a full 8 feet away from the vault on a stuck landing.
Riverwind keys to the meet. Kelly, what are your keys?
Well, first off, they really have to stay the course. This is a long month of March, and so they have to be careful not to get injured. You know, they're tired. They got to be mentally tough when they're physically tired.
First up on vault is Bree Showers out of Michigan. She actually won Beam Burst, Georgia, but here she is on vault.
Bree starts off the Sooners just with an outstanding vault. Beautiful the way she shows her form in the air. She has power. She's going to be a great leader for the Sooners, not just this year, but every year. And I think on several events, Megan.
Her career high on vault is a 9.875. What do you think she's going to receive tonight, Kelly?
Oh, put me right on the spot. Nice. Okay. Well, you never
starting off
really,
with a bang here.
I know it. You never really know, but I'm going to shoot for a 9.85.
So walk us through the start values, the difference.
Well, the routines start from a 9.5, and then they have the opportunity to get bonus points, which help them start from a 10.0. On vault is a little bit different because it's just a single skill. On bars, for example, here, what they're looking for are combinations, hitting handstands, showing full amplitude and difficulty. She did amazing, great routine, great start off for Michigan.
That right there was Sid Townsend, the freshman out of Ontario. She was a part of the Canadian Senior National Team member from 2015 to 2017.
she's definitely one that we're going to watch because as a freshman.
And here's our Sooner to watch, Nicole Lehrman on vault.
You know what? That was a great vault. It wasn't a stuck landing like we want to see, and I know what that just sets the tone, really, and the Sooners are expecting that. They want to hit not only a great vault, but they want to land it perfectly. You know, they are trying to win that national championship. It doesn't come by taking hops, and I know that the coaches have lots of expectation for them.
And that vault was out of a 9.95, so impossible to get a 10, whether they stick it or not.
That's right.
Up next for Michigan is Lexi Funk. She's a sophomore out of Illinois, team's newcomer of the year as a freshman.
She has a great history of success with her Junior Olympic training at IGI. Look at that sky-high Tkachev. Oh, pushed down. Can't really help a coach sometimes on the side, right, Megan?
We wish we could.
So she has shown some real poise by saving some of those handstands and finishes up with a great double layout and a stuck landing.
Her career high for bars is a 9.85. She actually competed the all-around as a freshman as well.
And we know how unique that is because it is hard to make the lineup.
Here on vault, third is Brenna Dowell.
Brenna has really been on this year on vault. We saw her. Oh, man, that was perfect. I'll be shocked if that's not a 10.0 because she is doing that start value of a 10.0. You can't get a 10 unless you start from one. Start, baby. Watch right here. She is so on this year. I cannot even take it hardly.
I feel like she finds that landing more often than not.
It's really uncanny the way she's done it this year.
Up next for Michigan, we have Lauren Farley.
Lauren had been out for the first couple of, or the last two meets, so this is her time back.
The freshman out of Dallas, Texas. Actually made her bars debut at Ohio State with a 9.85. Pretty solid to start.
Absolutely, especially for just a freshman.
Lexi Funk finished with a 9.8. Sid Townsend, 9.825.
Wow. You know, in warm-ups, we watched Michigan, and they were rock solid on bar warm-up, stuck every single landing. She had a tiny bobble on her landing, but not much. It's a great start. They're wanting to replace that 196.525 as their away score to contribute to the regional qualifying score.
Here's AJ Jackson going up on the vault, the senior out of Missouri.
I'd love AJ just to knock one out of the park one day and just land it, just land one. She could just do that, and every time, she's so big, and you know, adrenaline can be such your best friend, but also it can be a foe for you sometimes if you don't know how to control it.
And we talked about that before the meet. It's almost harder to rein it in than to go all out.
It is, and especially for a gymnast like AJ, because she has that quick movement in her body, she just can't really help herself.
Wow, Brenna Dowell finished with a 9.975. Very, very impressive. Up next on bars, we have Polina Shenikova, the sophomore out of Evergreen, Colorado.
Polina has beautiful lines. She gets that naturally since her parents were both parents were on the Soviet national team. Look at that. Oh, too bad on that landing. It's almost like she got caught on the mat.
Stumbled a little bit. AJ Jackson got a 9.9 on vault. Brenna Dowell really gets this lineup going. Up next, we have Anastasia Webb, just a freshman who's been great for the Sooners so far this season.
She really has, and she has a oh, look at that. I'd like to see her land that, maybe just a little bit more knee bend. You know, when you lock your knees out like that, you could have a chance of injury. But this is a unique vault. It's also a 10.0 start value. It's called an O'Malley check.
It's almost harder to land forward. It's a blind landing. Those sticks do not come easy.
That's right. You really have to have great air sense in order to stick a front type landing.
This right here, Paige Zaziski. She's a transfer from Arkansas, and she's been great for the Wolverines this season.
She has, and she brings experience, All-American as in the SEC.
was a regular season All-American just last year on bars.
She also brings a lot of spark and personality. You can see that when you watch her, not just in her gymnastics, but on the sidelines. I mean, beautiful body line, and that's the landing right there. That's the landing they're looking for, and that's what we saw in warm-up. So way to go, Paige.
Up next, we have Maggie Nichols, quite the fan favorite, I would say, in this building.
One thing I can say about Maggie, I just consider her steady perfection. Whatever she does, she scored a 10 on every event, so it could come at any time.
I don't know, Kelly, that might be it.
Kind of like that. You know, it's so interesting because Brenna, nails that vault. Up comes Anastasia, and then Maggie Nichols. Look, she sees it, she spots it.
Looks like she's spotting assistant coach Lou Ball right at the end of the mat there.
I know, and you know what? The only thing that would keep her from scoring that 10 is not maybe snapping her heels together after she landed.
We're hearing some cheers. I see there's a 10 from one judge. I can't see the other one. I'm getting word that that's a 10. Much deserved, much deserved. Is that her 10? That's her 10th 10 of her career.
So. How about that?
That's an iconic one. You see Alex Marks over here raising the roof to the fans, and she's about to vault right after her.
Right, that's team support right there.
Oh, wow, that's great.
And you know how difficult it also must be for the next gymnast up on the uneven bars. This is Brianna Brown, and she is one of their standouts on the uneven bar. She hasn't always competed bars, but here she is back in the lineup, and she is a real beauty to watch. Get ready to see how high she does this first release move.
The senior out of Alexandria, Virginia, the AAI Award nominee this year.
Playing in that handstand, nice and high. Because she has such a great line, it's perfect for uneven bars. That's beautiful pack salto, immediate toe on. Got to be able to have control in your handstand to do that. And watch this dismount double A, perfect. It's like that stick, it's contagious. Once he sees it and says, I can do that too.
Brianna Brown's a 3-time All-American, second team on bars just last year. Really, really nice lines for her. And we have an exhibition for Oklahoma. This is Alex Marks. Her score will not count, but she does get to go.
This gives her a lot of experience. It looks like she was trying too hard for the stick. It's such a fine line. You got to go way big and then yet find that landing. A little bit different than what A.J. Jackson experiences.
Sometimes it's harder to be the exhibition, in my opinion, because you want to be in the lineup so bad that you put a little pressure on yourself, even though your score isn't counting, but you want to break into that lineup, and sometimes you can if you have a strong performance.
That's exactly right.
All right, coming up next, we'll have OU moving on to the bars, Michigan over to vault.
Sooner Sports TV is brought to you by Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut. Taco Mayo, fresh Mex. Get what you want, get what you need. Riverwind Resort, still the one. And Walden Cleaners, the quality and service you're looking for in your neighborhood cleaners since 1933. Sooner Sports TV personalities wardrobe is provided by Threads Menswear and Blush on Campus Corner. Hair and makeup provided by Studio Zen.
Welcome back to the Lloyd Noble Center. Let's take a look at this week's upcoming Sooner athletic events brought to you by Red Carpet Charters. We are officially in spring with baseball taking on Alabama, softball versus Abilene Christian, baseball again the next day versus Dallas Baptist, softball taking on St. Francis. Men's tennis also in action, taking on Wichita State. It is the night of sports science, and we're going to feature bars, and the look behind that from someone who just received a 10 on vault in Maggie Nichols.
As Oklahoma Maggie Nichols propels off the high bar, she is able to hit the low bar with a tiny window of opportunity. Her body follows an arc with a circumference of about 270 inches, so a 1.6-inch object like the bar takes up just over 2 degrees of that arc. Since she's rotating at an angular velocity of almost 340 degrees per second, that bar is part of the arc she makes for about 6 thousandths of a second. When she releases the bar, Maggie tucks her body closer to her rotational point, allowing her to throw herself nearly 3 feet above the bar. After her release, Nichols is able to relocate the 1.6-inch bar, which is only in her frame of view, for 0.26 seconds.
We'll update you with some scores. Oklahoma on the vault scored a 49.65. Michigan on bars, 49.15. A season high for the Sooners on vault, Kelly.
Absolutely great. This is exactly what they're looking for. Michigan's score of the 49.15 is a little bit lower than their regional qualifying score and their average. So just not sticking some of those landings has made a difference.
And Oklahoma really finding those landings on vault, and those are the vaults that they're going to want in the Super 6 competition. We're going to start off on vault with the Wolverines. This is Lexi Funk, the sophomore out of Illinois.
This is one event you're going to notice that they're going to be missing their star athlete. Olivia Karras is out with a torn Achilles this year, and just her value to the team is that truly is about 2 points difference. And so Lexi is one of those gymnasts who's helping to fill in that gap.
And Olivia Karras suffered that season-ending injury versus Maryland. She was a second-team All-American on vault and floor in 2017. Certainly missed by the Wolverines this season.
Absolutely.
Here we are with AJ Jackson. She's on bars right now. AJ, a senior that this team has really relied on 3 events this season, and really coming into this bar rotation, she didn't really compete bars much as an underclassman. She's filled this role as a really important bar worker here.
I was surprised early in the season when I saw that Coach Kendler had her leading off the bar lineup, but you know, we have to trust those coaches and what they see every day in practice, and apparently she has some senior leadership. She's done great all season long.
The leadoff position is so important. You want to start this rotation with a bang.
Well, and as you know, Meg, 6 girls compete, 5 scores count. Wow, look at that stuck handstand. That was neat. I always say it's like having a picnic in your handstand. Love that. And look at her dismount. Oh, crud. She just pulled in with her at her shoulder angle when she let go of the bar. Unfortunately, it just pulled her back towards the bar, and she clipped her feet on the top of the bar.
Here's a replay of it.
You can see right here, she's up. She doesn't realize quite how, you know, that is so, it's such a surprise when you do it. You know you're close, but you're like, okay, I didn't realize I was quite that close.
Here's Polina Shenikova on vault.
Okay, and a clean vault for the Wolverines. That's what they're wanting. Nice landing. You know, I'd like to see maybe a little bit straighter line, open hips in the vault, but, you know, considering they've been battling some injuries with different girls, and so they want a nice, clean road score. That's all they're looking for.
Back to AJ, that's pretty scary. That can rattle a gymnast. Hopefully she can kind of get over that and move on.
Well, and you never really know what kind of injury can happen from that. I mean, it can be just like, oh, that kind of hurts, to, you know, to maybe a broken bone. It's hard to tell.
And this puts Anastasia Webb kind of in an interesting position. Just a freshman, has to follow that fall.
Well, if anybody can do it, she can. She seems to have nerves of steel. For such a young gymnast, as a freshman, she's come in and just really shown Coach Kendler and staff that she is one to depend on.
She's won 5 event titles, 2 of them on bars this season.
But you're right, Megan, it does put pressure all day long. I mean, it just does. She's handling it, going into the dismount. Yeah, just a little off. You can tell that she was kind of panicked. Her blind going into that dismount was just a little bit not quite to handstand, which made her rush going into the dismount.
I think that'll still be a score that the Sooners will be okay with after a fall. Up next, we have Brianna Brown from Michigan on the vault.
Brianna is such an amazing gymnast. She's so tiny, and she's got power, you know? I love watching her because she's able to just pop off that horse. I'd like maybe to see a touch more form in the air, but again, a solid vault for her.
She's a two-time All-Big Ten selection. Her career high on vault, a 9.875. Not bad for a 9.95 start value.
That's true.
Competing next on bars for Oklahoma, Stephanie Couture.
Up next, Stephanie Couture on bars. This gymnast is a rock. I almost feel like she's underrated. She hits when she needs to. She's a senior that the Sooners really, really rely on every single week.
Well, I've just enjoyed watching her come alive the last 2 years. She was put in the bar lineup and beam lineup, and she just nailed it every single time out. Wow, gigantic Tkachev. Right up to that handstand, that's one thing they're always looking for. Nice. You know, she is just calm. I feel like a piece about me as I'm watching her. Just, she's got this. It's kind of getting the Sooners right back on track. Good job. Great routine.
AJ Jackson got a 9.175, Anastasia Webb 9.825. And if you're just joining us from the Dallas Stars game, you're watching Oklahoma women's gymnastics taking on Michigan Gymnastics, the #1 team versus the #7 team on Fox Sports Southwest. Up next, we have Sid Townsend out of Ontario, Canada. Just a freshman, but a very, very talented one.
Well, and she's used to being on a big stage, having competed in world championships. Nice vault, beautiful. This is the only 10-0 star value the Wolverines have today. And so, beautiful vault, nice lift. Here it comes. You get to see it in slow-mo, pop up, so high. She does that full and a half, just like Brenna Dow and Maggie Nichols and AJ Jackson. Great vault.
We have an updated score from Michigan on the parallel bars. Paige Ziziski actually finished with a 9.9, so a good score for her. Here we have Brenna Dow, the junior, out of Odessa, Missouri on bars.
Brenna did her club training at Gage Gymnastics. She, too, trained for the Olympics, has been on several world championship teams. But what I love is that she's really starting to enjoy her gymnastics. She's coming into her own. She's so confident. Wasn't perfect landing, but pretty darn close.
Brenna actually deferred her second year, right after her freshman year, to chase that Olympic dream. She told me last year when she came back that she would have regretted it had she not given it a try.
Well, that's one of my favorite quotes from Coach Kindler, how she talks about not wanting to live with regret.
Here we have Paige Ziziski on the vault out of Michigan.
That was a good vault for her, and it was a nice duck landing, but I felt like she missed her block just a touch. I mean, she can go bigger, but it was solid, it was clean, it was high, all of that, but she has more in her, and I'll expect to see that as I watch her the rest of the season. You know, right there is Coach Bev Plocky. She's done an amazing job her 29th year. She runner-up twice to NCAA championship, so she knows what it's like to be in the race.
And Sid Townsend, the one who did the Yurchenko 1.5, a 9.9 for her. It's pretty nice. Brianna Brown, 9.8. Of course, Polina Shenikova finished with a 9.825, and Lexi Funk, the leadoff for Michigan, was a 9.725. And here we are, Nicole Lehrman, the junior out of Austin, Texas, on bars.
Nicole is co-national champion along with Maggie Nichols. To have two on the same team
is not bad.
Just amazing, right? I'll take it. I think any team in the country would take that.
Oh, yeah.
But they have their own stars also, and it's fun to watch her. As you mentioned, She's in the all around these days. Nice, nice, nice.
That's what they're looking for right there.
She knows it's great. The crowd knows it's great. We're going to see what the judges think. Oh, I think Coach Kindler even likes it, and that's always a good sign.
Sooners really rebounding after a fall from the leadoff in AJ Jackson. Some pretty good scores. Anastasia Webb, 9.825. Steph Couture, 9.875. Brenna Dow with a 9.9. And we'll head back over to vault with Emma McLean.
Wow. Emma McLean has so much power. She can do a much harder vault, but she has been nursing a really bruised heel. But she is the co-captain this year. Her highest has been a 9.975. Now, naturally, she can't get a 10 on that, although it's probably quite worthy of it because of it's only a 9.95 start value.
She was the 2017 Big Ten Vault champion and 2017 regional champion on vault. So pretty solid for her. Now we have a fan favorite, Maggie Nichols, just a sophomore out of Minnesota. Here are the rankings. She is first on this event.
You know, she's just so beautiful to watch. They all are, but you're right. It is effortless. And like I said, it's steady perfection. You know what you're going to get. Oh, wow. I love it. I wish I could say that was a 10. Everything else looked great, but that dismount, her chest was just a touch low. I mean, you have to be so picky. It's kind of sad because she's so great that yep.
Very close to a stuck dismount, but I'm sure KJ Kindler is going to be happy how the Sooners rebounded after a leadoff fall. That's very difficult, not only mentally, physically. Your senior goes down the first gymnast up, Kelly. That's got to be really hard.
It is, and I think that's what is the takeaway. When you're in later part of the season, when you are tired, you have to be mentally tough, and you have to just throw those things aside mentally and just pull it together.
Nicole Lehrman received a 9.95. We'll show you an exhibition routine with Bree Showers, a sophomore. This score will not count, but it is good to have some reps under her belt to maybe make it into that lineup.
She has such a unique skill, and I don't think it looks as difficult as it really is.
I agree.
It's a Shushanova. It's a full twisting Tkachev. And then she has a great dismount, right? You know, that's what's so wonderful about this Sooner team is that they have such depth on every event.
And that might be a routine that KJ Kindler might want to put in the lineup here maybe pretty soon.
Honestly, I thought about that, and in light of what happened with AJ, next meet, it's only in 5 or 6 days, she might need or have to do that depending on how AJ's feeling.
Coming up next, Oklahoma moves to the beam, Michigan on the floor. You're watching Sooner Women's Gymnastics presented by OU Medicine.
Thanks to Buick GMC, we are professional grade. And Love's, clean places, friendly faces. Sooner fans, do you know a local teacher that is dedicated to quality like our friends at PDQ Restaurants? Visit eatpdq.com/PDQ teacher to nominate them today.
Two events down, 2 events to go. It's time for your Air Comfort Solutions scores. Oklahoma has a 99.15, Michigan 98.6. The Sooners have a little over 5/10 of a lead. Kelly, what do you think about the first 2 events?
Well, it's great. I knew it was going to be close. After first event, I was a little surprised, and so going into second, they're all pulling it together, and it's going to make it a close competition to watch. Don't go away, whatever you do.
And again, it's the night of sports science, so we're going to take a look behind the scenes, throw some crazy numbers at you, featuring Bree Showers on the beam.
A Atop the balance beam, Oklahoma's Bree Shower's body makes an arc of about 300 degrees, rotating at an angular velocity of roughly 600 degrees per second. In less than 2 seconds, her feet travel almost 45 feet, while she keeps her center of mass directly above the beam. On her dismount, Showers is able to run forward, flip backward, and twist, rotating a full 720 degrees in just 7/10 of a second.
And Oklahoma got a 49.5 on bars. Michigan a 49.35. That's actually about 2/10 higher than their RQS score, Kelly.
You know, what I've noticed is that they are on track to score another 198, which would put them on track for a record. It also possibly a season high, which would be a national high for them. We'll see. And beam, and of course, floor exercise. Beam is one of their, their best events. Floor exercise is great, but we'll see how it works out.
And of course, Maggie Nichols, the 10 on vault, 9.95 on bars. She impresses me every single week. I don't know what else to say about her.
I swear, I think she can't get any better, and she does. I mean, I'm just like, okay. You know, she might be disappointed that she's not going for a 40 right now because, that bar score. Never know. I mean, her goals are probably gigantic, and so, that is a possibility. She's already got the gym slam of 10.0 on every event, but now she probably wants it in one meet.
And 10 10s for her in her entire career. Kelly Garrison Funderburk, my partner, she was the first Sooner ever to receive a 10. What is that feeling like, Kelly?
Well, it's nice to do it in competition because you have to do it in practice often. And, when I landed and my feet hit the mat and my dismount, I knew it was a 10. I'm just super glad the judges thought so, too.
Gotta be a good feeling. This is Stephanie Couture, a senior leader for the Sooners up on the balance beam. Out of Phoenix, she went to Desert Lights Gymnastics. Made her beam debut February 5th of her sophomore year.
One thing I like about Stephanie is not only her confidence and poise as she does balance beam, but she upgraded her dismount to what you're going to see upcoming and added a full twist. And that's what I love about gymnasts when they don't settle for less going into their senior year. They go all out.
I think it's safe to say some gymnasts who even come to college start to low down, take down their difficulty in their routines. Maybe their bodies are a little tired after an elite career and things like that, but not this team, not the Sooners.
Especially when they come back from an elite season, they often want to hold back.
A great leadoff for the senior, Stephanie Couture.
You can see right there how Coach Kindler just loves that. It's, I wish I knew her secret. I really did.
I think a lot of people wish they knew KJ's secret.
That's right. There's her dismount. It's a gainer
so
with
unique.
A full twist. Yeah.
So unique. Up next on floor, we have Sid Townsend, the Canadian. Just a freshman. She was on the senior national team in Canada.
She's really going to be one to watch, not just this year, as I mentioned, but every year going forward. She does her gymnastics with ease. I got this. Oh, front to double back, no problem.
Big Ten Freshman of the Week on January 18th. Her career high on floor is a 9.85.
She's such a fun gymnast to watch. I think once, she's coming from that international level, and so I think as she competes a little bit further in college, she'll get used to performing a little more showy with her face and smile and entertain the crowd.
And you would say that's kind of the difference between college gymnastics and the international scene?
It certainly is. It's one of them. I think the pressure is less. I think that allows them to just really enjoy their gymnastics. And that's what I love, is that you get to do that in your final years of the sport. It's not like you can do gymnastics at the club at 40.
No.
Like golf.
I don't think I can do gymnastics at 26, Kelly.
Well, let's just stop talking about age.
Stephanie Couture, a huge 9.95. Wow, what a great score to lead off this beam
Holy
lineup.
cow. Where do you go from there when you're the first girl up?
That's impressive. That's a very impressive score. Now up next we have Bree Showers.
I really love this routine. She's so unique. You know, that's one thing that Coach Kindler does is it's not just floor exercise that she's known for, having amazing choreography, but she also takes that right over to the balance beam.
Bree Showers is tied for 14th in the national RQS rankings. This is really her first season competing. She was out all season last year with an injury, and she's been rock solid for the Sooners.
Well, she's eager. She's eager to show what she's capable of. She's in the best shape. She's so powerful and yet graceful all at the same time. Love this combo right there. That's where you get those bonus points to start you from a 10.0.
What kind of style points, too. Not many people do a 360 with a straight body right into a back handspring swing down.
That's right. You got to be straight on that.
That's for sure.
I love how her confidence, she just throws her chest out like, look at me, aren't I great? And that's what you want. Wow, I mean, amazing. This could be a record scoring event for the Sooners, and they have one of the highest scores ever. Their best is a 49.775. Their RQS 49.49. So they've already scored a season high, which was their best, but darn, they might be able to do it again.
Dismount, the height, the precision, the stuck landing.
Perfect.
Up next, back to floor, we have Lexi Funk in the number 2 spot, trying to build off the 9.775 out of Sid Townsend.
This is a fun routine to watch. I love that part. We're like, hey, everybody get up, let's go.
She's competed all around in 3 meets this season, competed all around as a freshman just last year.
You know, it's kind of like when you're watching the Michigan team, it's fun to look to see where they place their M in the routine, their choreography.
Yes.
They do that with their whole hands, and just like the Sooners, you'll see that they have a move that they're putting in. A lot of the teams are doing that, and I think it's kind of fun.
I love that. You see the Utah Utes who throw up the U, and the Florida Gators will do a chomp with their arms. It's really cool. It makes it unique, makes it fun for the team and the crowd to even know where it goes in their routines.
Right, or just, it's like a hide and seek. Where is it?
Her career high's at 9.9 on floor. She's been solid for the Wolverines.
Look at that finishing double tuck. They've really upped their game. I was talking to Coach Ben Plucky this earlier, and I just said, hey, you guys are wide open. You know, the floodgates are open. I mean, unfortunately, they have that one gymnast who got hurt, but otherwise, wow. I mean, there's no telling. This is a team to watch.
And that's exactly what a head coach wants. You have some athletes go down with injuries, and then you have other athletes, they step up, they perform just how they practice.
That's exactly right.
Here's Nicole Lehrman on the balance beam in the 3rd spot. Bree Showers, the 9.925. Wow, great start for the Sooners on the balance beam.
You know, sometimes we talk about the pressure you have when a first gymnast maybe falls or does, you know, has a major mistake. There's also pressure when you're hitting, because then you realize
You don't want to be the one that falls.
Yeah, well, not only that, but you realize, hey, we have potential here to get our very best. And so, you know, you need to be aggressive and attack the balance beam as you're performing.
KJ Kindler actually said beam you have to attack the most of all the events.
You know, it's funny, you can really tell out of all the gymnasts, I can so see when Nicole is in her zone. She has a certain facial expression, and her little eyebrows drop, and she is just totally in the zone, and I love that about her.
She's a 2nd team All-American on beam just last year. Really was an event specialist up until last week. Really cool to see her in the all-around as a junior.
Oh, nice, and she fought for that landing. Excellent, excellent. You know, she's got a great all-around score going, too. I mean, she's going to start giving Maggie a little run for her money. I mean it.
And Anastasia Webb, the freshman. Which only makes teams better. When
That's right.
everyone gets better, you only make your team better. It's competitive in the gym. It's competitive at meets. That makes for a great team. Here's Lauren Martinez on the floor for Michigan. She's a senior out of Orlando, Florida. All Big Ten second team in 2017.
She brings both the power, the choreography, the confidence. I love watching her, not just on floor exercise, but her balancing routine is so neat.
Looks like she might be nursing some type of shin splint.
It does.
Wrapped up a little bit there.
Well, and as you know, there's not really anything you can do about that except rest and
Power through
no
it.
time for rest.
No. Not now in March.
Well, both teams have competed at least 7 meets. Wolverines have competed 8, and they still have 3 or 4 to go. And so that's why earlier I was talking about being physically tired and staying mentally focused. We don't want injuries to happen, and that's often when they do happen, is when your body's just exhausted. But they have a tough schedule coming up. You can see a little bit of that fatigue right there. It's good, but, you know, she's pushing through it. And that builds character and it builds confidence going into postseason.
Right in the middle of the season is, like you said, when you get the fatigue, it kind of takes a turn when you get to postseason. It's a little bit more exciting. You're not as tired, but now is most likely the time where you're kind of feeling a little tired.
That's right.
Natalie Brown, the senior out of Dallas, Texas, a staple for the Sooners on the balance beam. Just cracked the beam lineup, nursing an injury earlier this season, but she was great last week.
And she has been missed. Although the team has filled in her spot, I know that she wanted it right back. She was a runner-up national champion on balance beam a couple of years ago.
She's a Big 12 co-champ on balance beam. Nicole Lehrman with a 9.925.
She did amazing, her training at Woga Gymnastics. Several of the gymnasts do, and you can see a type of line and style from gymnasts who have trained there.
It was a great save with her series there. A little off on the first front aerial before the back handspring, but she's a veteran, she's a senior. She was not even gonna stop, not gonna let anyone know that that might have been a little bit of an error.
Right, it certainly does show her expertise and her poise to not panic.
You really are right. Gymnasts out of Woga have this certain style. It's artistry.
Wow, stuck dismount, stuck dismount, stuck dismount. That right there is what wins national championships.
And she shows her emotion like no one else.
I know. Yeah, she can't hide it, good or bad.
You would never know that that front aerial there's a little bobble there.
Perfect landing, she knows it.
Up next, Brianna Brown on the floor for Michigan, the senior out of Alexandria, Virginia. Second time All Big Ten selection. Her career high is a 9.9 on floor.
She is truly a gamer. Look at that beautiful 2.5. As we talked about, those are blind landings. It's hard to, control that landing and not possibly even step out of bounds.
And those twisting elements are kind of rare in college. They're beautiful, but they're hard. A lot of gymnasts will do the double flips in the air, the double pikes, the double tucks. The twisting I absolutely love.
Well, and she does both.
Look at that.
Really nice to see. Well, that she's able to do both.
The variety.
Thank you. I was kind of blank on that word.
Here for you, Kel. Lexi Funk with a 9.85 and Laura Marinas with a 9.8.
Those are great scores for Florida, or for, I was looking at Florida, no, for Michigan, really nice. And again, we've talked about what they're gaining. I mean, they want to win here, and there's always that chance. But they also are wanting to bring away a great road score and show what they're capable of. They have potential that's better than a 196, and their RQS says 196.8, but they are clearly a 197 team.
I agree 100%. And they were only down by a little over 0.5 of a point heading into this rotation, but the Sooners have been rock solid on beam. It's hard to make up that ground when your opponent is doing so well.
Right, and they average 11 9.9s per competition, but today I bet that changes.
Here's Anastasia Webb, the freshman out of Illinois.
She's really been that freshman phenom, and she has the whole package. She has the strength, she has the uniqueness, expression, flexibility, power. I mean, she's going to be a great one to keep track of over the next 4 years.
Her confidence, too. When she's on the event, you would never think she doubted herself for any reason at all. Natalie Brown with a 9.9.
I love how she pops her chin up like, even before, like she lands and immediately her head just pops up. Like, this is so easy for me.
And she kind of has this stylistic vibe to her, too, down to like the fingers on her hands,
Yeah.
you know? Like, those are the details that make champions.
I agree. She
Flicks her
has
wrists.
a little bit of a
Yeah.
snap, a sassy
Yeah.
snap to her.
Those details separate the good from the great.
Well, and some people can't even identify that. They're like, well, she's got something. I can't tell what it
I
is.
think we found it.
Right. Wow, another stuck landing, another great routine. Amazing rotation. And we still have one more.
And if we were worried about the Sooners coming off a bar fall, I don't think we have to worry about that anymore. Up next on floor, Paige Zaziski, the transfer from Arkansas, but she's from Michigan. So you think that had to be kind of a factor leading into maybe the transfer?
Perhaps, I don't know all the details, but I know that she is rocking it either place. Arkansas was great in the SEC, and now in the Big Ten, just look at me. You know, she's got fun music. It's interesting because her choreography, in my opinion, is slower than her music. So she's following a different beat to it, which makes you kind of continue to watch her like, well, that's different.
Beat to her own drum.
True.
Following Brianna Brown, who got a 9.85. Was that a moonwalk?
That was the moonwalk,
Oh.
yes. I love that karate kick. Like,
Breaking some glass almost.
Right, yeah. Like, I can do this. Who does a karate kick? She does.
She's won 16
She does it
event
well.
titles, too. She's one of their best gymnasts on this team.
Absolutely.
Finishes with a double tuck. She's fun to watch.
Got some confidence.
Yeah.
Little, not an air of arrogance, but there is definitely some confidence, and she just looks like she's having fun.
Yeah, we're gonna see the moonwalk again. Check this out.
One. Shows off those calves.
I love when gymnasts do something fun for them, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
And of course, Maggie Nichols anchoring this beam rotation. I mean, an excellent, excellent beam rotation. Anastasia Webb with a 9.9. Just building off a 9.95 from Stephanie Couture. They have been great.
Okay, so here's the real question. We know what Maggie's capable of. She can score a 10. She can do a variety of routines, let me put it that way.
Right.
So the question is, does she throw in the front tuck today or not?
So what I'm told, the front tuck is a game time decision from KJ Kindler, and if the lineup has done well, they throw it. If they haven't done well, they play it safe, let her hit her routine, but that front tuck is fun to watch. It's much more difficult than it looks. She, of course, makes it very, very easy looking.
Kind of like she makes everything.
Right. Yeah, this is not easy what she's doing to everyone watching.
You know what? She is having to fight through. I mean, being a gymnast, you can see that there's a tiny bit of things she's fighting through. Just a hair. Which tells me there will
There's the
not be,
front.
right, that there's not going to be a 10.0. I mean, that front tuck, she landed, adjusted, and still. So if you're at home going, well, like my mother would say, well, she stayed on. She
It
didn't
looked
move.
great.
Right. I mean, it might be a 9975, but it's, you know, I just don't think they can throw a 10.
And she's already had 110 tonight, so I think she's still having a pretty good meet.
Right. Beautiful dismount. One of the best I've seen her do because it had the amplitude, spotting, landing with her feet.
Back to the floor. We have Emma McLean.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh, we have some
Make a liar
We
out
have
of me
some
every
pretty
time.
good cheers going on from the Sooner crowd.
That's okay. You know what? When you're an expert in a sport, you can see the little adjustments.
Right.
And sometimes others cannot.
And that's what makes Maggie so good. She can cover it up.
Right.
Sometimes judges miss those.
Clearly they did.
I think everyone's going to be okay with it.
Well, this gymnast is fun to watch for
Junior.
Michigan.
Junior out of Clarkston, Michigan. Career high 9.975.
One thing I noticed about Michigan, too, they're in great physical shape. I mean, the girls that are competing their bodies look great. They're strong. They're healthy. Oh, too bad from this view you couldn't see the hands, but that's
The
where she
block
does
M.
a little, yeah, the block M. And you know what? How hard is that when the crowd is screaming and there's a 10 going on and then you're on the floor exercise going, hey, everybody.
Maintain your composure.
Watch me.
And the score is in for Maggie Nichols. It is a 10. This is the second highest beam rotation of the season with a 49.7, a huge score for the Sooners. Up next, we have Carly Woodard, just a freshman on the exhibition spot. Again, this score will not count towards the lineup, but she has been in the lineup before and did a great job. She's just trying to get those reps in as a freshman.
Well, it gives her that experience, and she was in the lineup when Natalie Brown was out, and it's good to be able to pull someone that you can feel confident in. This, as you said, Meg, this is great experience. She missed that combination, so she kind of dances backwards to repeat it. Just teaches her. Look at this flexibility right here.
Beautiful. Her career high is a 9.95 just as a freshman.
Well, and there's no deduction for what she did by going back and repeating it. As a gymnast, you're kind of like,
Kind of messes with the flow of the routine.
well, it does, and just to know that you missed the first combination, they're like, okay, wow,
You don't feel
she
great
did
about
mess
it.
up, yeah.
But a strong finish.
Every single gymnast stuck the landing.
Wow.
Every single Sooner,
I'm sure KJ would be happy with that.
in lots of ways.
Again, a 49.7, the second highest beam score of the season so far.
Well, they really know how to bring it.
Up next, we will go to the final rotation. Oklahoma on the floor, and of course, Michigan on the beam. The Sooners looking for a 198 at home. We'll see what they can do here on the final rotation.
Thanks to our cornerstone sponsors, Anheuser-Busch, OU Medicine, the OU Extended Campus, and our community partners, Landers Auto Group, Devon Energy, and OU Medicine.
floor, Oklahoma's A.J. Jackson converts her momentum at takeoff into vertical velocity on her passes. On her first pass, Jackson is able to rotate 720 degrees, as well as twist 360 degrees, allowing her to flip a full 1,080 degrees in just over 1 second. On her last pass, Jackson reaches a maximum height of almost 7 feet. That means she could jump over former Sooner basketball player Blake Griffin.
As we head into the last event, Oklahoma on the balance meet back, she scored a 49.7. Michigan on the floor, 49.175. The total so far, Oklahoma 148.85, Michigan 147.775. So the Sooners leading by over a point. So, you know, I mean, that beam rotation was insane. They really picked up some speed there.
That's exactly right. It was fun to watch, not only for the Sooners. I mean, they're on track to score another 198, but also Michigan is on track to score a 197 if they just do their average performance on the balance beam.
And good teams shoot for that 49 range on every single event. You don't really want to be in the 48 range. If you're gonna get a 49, it leads to at least a 196.
That's right, and that's a 9.8 average for each of those 5 scores, and that's easy. I mean, I say easily possible. I'm sure it is, but you know, it's not like terribly difficult. And 9.8's a pretty good score to get, an easy score to get for a college gymnast.
Here are the top scores in 2018 in the NCAA. Oklahoma has 4 of the top 8 scores this season in the NCAA.
Well, I mean, they're really showing their dominance. I mean, I overheard them say dynasty when, in relation to Oklahoma, and I think that's, you know, Coach Kendler doesn't settle for less. I mean, she brought in the best coaches when she came to Oklahoma. She brought in the trainer.
Jen Richardson has been a great asset to this team.
I mean, that's what I love, and every head coach does that. I mean, I've noticed that about Beth Plocky also. I mean, Coach Kendler brings in, you know, Lou Ball and Tom Haley and Jen, and then Beth Plocky, I mean, she was amazing by having Scott Sherman by her side for 22 years. Scott Vittere, I think it's pronounced, and then having an assistant coach, Caitlin Betts. I mean, I have seen what having an amazing coaching staff can do for any program, and Beth and KJ Kindler are both leaders. They're CEOs of their team.
KJ Kindler in her 12th season, she was named National Coach of the Year in 2005, 2010, and 2015. Of course, they did win a national title with the Sooners in 2014, 2016, and 2017. She's an 11-time Big 12 Coach of the Year as well.
Right. I mean, she's definitely got her game on. I mean, it's amazing, and her standards are high, not for herself. I mean, she just is one of those people. She's a winner, and she expects it from everybody who's associated with her.
KJ Kindler, also the first NCAA coach to take 2 different programs to the Super 6. Of course, Oklahoma and her alma mater, Iowa State. They went to the Super 6 in 2006. And we are heading into the last rotation. This is Michigan on beam, and this is Lexi Funk, the sophomore out of Aurora, Illinois.
Lexi has fallen twice earlier this year, and she is such a fighter. To come back, you know, they've had 8 meets, 2 of them have been falls, and so therefore, you know, sometimes that can work in your mind, in your headset, and your confidence when you're up on the beam, and she's doing great.
But when she's on, she's on.
Right.
Career high 9.925. Almost had that landing, but not quite.
Well, and in fact, if they're trying to get to that score, they are going to have to stick those landings. It was a beautiful routine. She had a really nice straddle full. Look right here. A beat jump right into a popa. That is very unusual. It's a hard combination.
Here we have Bree Showers leading off the Sooners on floor, the sophomore out of Michigan. Career high 9.9 so far this season.
Perfect. Just right on the money. Beautiful.
Has great air awareness.
She does. I just can't say enough about this whole team. I mean, right when I say, oh, about her, and then I'm like, well, about her, well,
That's what happens when you're the #1 team in the nation.
I suppose. You know, we talked about her strength and her power. She just kind of reminds me of a thoroughbred. She's so strong, and her legs, you know, they're just beautiful. You can see all that power and strength. And then you combine it with grace. I mean, that's what makes champions.
And that's the type of athlete KJ Kindler recruits.
Exactly. One of the best routines she's done this year.
Really nice routine for her.
I love how Coach Kindler brings out the best qualities in each gymnast. The routines do not look the same. The music is not the same. She truly has a gift.
And KJ Kindler choreographs every single routine. A lot of schools bring in a choreographer. Their head coach is their choreographer. It's a great first pass for Bree Showers.
Whip half, right into a front full.
We have Paige Zaziski on the balance beam for Michigan. Paige, the senior out of Chesterfield, Michigan.
You know, watching her in warm-up, she was just so relaxed and confident. It's good to see that you don't want a surprise in competition.
Lexi Funk received a 9.925 in that leadoff position.
Wow, great score.
Great score.
So it looks like the scores on balance beam are a little bit generous. We'll take it, because
Sometimes that's okay,
Because sometimes it's not generous, you
Right.
know. So hopefully that balances out. As long as they're consistent for both teams, that's what's most important. Oh, come on.
Kick over element.
There's that moonwalk. You know, it's kind of hard to moonwalk on the floor. Imagine trying to do it on those 4 inches.
I can't do it on either.
I might try that at home. Okay,
Good
she
recovery
stayed
for
on.
her.
Yep. Could have panicked, fell. That would have thrown everything for a loop and kind of upset the apple cart with the rest of the team.
She's a senior, man. She knows how to get it done.
That's right.
Here we have Brenna Dow in the 2 spot for the Sooners on floor. Bree Showers received a 9.875 in the leadoff.
Oh, she looks serious now. Like, get out of her way. Her face is like, I'm on this. Now, this is that tumbling pass. Not many in the country do. It was a little bit short. Made it hard to rebound and do the jump out of it.
The junior out of Odessa, Missouri, did go to Gage, which is a very prominent gym, I would say, in club gymnastics. A lot of their gymnasts reach the international elite scene.
I love her busting out in that smile. You know, Coach Kindler also does such a good job with Brenna. I mean, when she first came to school, she was so conservative in the way she danced. And, I mean, it's almost like night and day. And it's not just the Brenna Dowells of the world, but it's all these gymnasts who kind of find their love again for the sport. And it shows in the way they do their gymnastics. They can't help but show love. And you can see it on her face. It's right there.
I think a lot of that has to do with it being a team sport in college. Your teammates have your back. They're rooting for you. Where in club, it's really just about you. You don't really train with the United States team. Maybe you see them once a month at camp, but this, you're training with your team every single day. You know, if you make a mistake, your team has your back.
And that's what is, I think the public doesn't know when they see Team USA for gymnastics. It's not like you're close buddies with the girl right beside you. I mean, and a little bit more than it was when I competed a few years back, but
Recently.
but it still is pretty individualized.
Here we have Brianna Brown, the senior out of Alexandria, Virginia on beam.
Really want to see them hit balance beam so they can go home with that 197 in their bag.
Paige Zaziski with a 9.8. After a little bit of some balance checks here, it's a pretty good score, I'd say.
It certainly is, especially after the start-off score. Side aerial, clean, unique. Actually, side semi, my fault.
Her career high at 9.925 here.
You wouldn't know that there's all these people watching her. She just looks so relaxed. Beautiful dismount, perfectly stuck. Round up double full.
I love double fulls.
I do too.
I'm a big fan. If they're not going to do a double back, I'll take a double full all day.
Right. Very nice.
And now we have on floor Nicole Lehrman again. This will be the second time she's ever competed flooring. This is her second all-around competition.
I've heard a lot of people mention how they just love this routine.
Just last week, she received a 9.825. And just from talking to her teammates, it seemed like everyone was so excited that she made her all-around debut.
That's right.
They were very happy to see her on floor.
Yeah, I love seeing that, and that is what college gymnastics is all about.
Support.
Yeah.
Perfect.
She's still, you know, finding her feet in the way she performs floor. So she has these next 3 or 4 meets before postseason starts. I have no doubt that she'll feel more confident with each time she competes this routine.
Wow, much better from last week.
Right on.
Brenna Dow received a 9.85 in her floor routine.
You know, I feel like in the next couple of weeks, we're going to start seeing a little more expression. I mean, she's still, you know, checking
Take some
it out.
time,
Yeah,
maybe.
she is. She's just checking it out, going, I got to get through this routine a couple more times in the meet. There's the smile.
There we go. And that was much better than just last week. And even last week, she got a 9.825.
Right. Well, she's, like we said, her lines are so great. Her technique is great. So that's one reason their scores are great.
Up next on beam, we have Polina Shenikova, just a sophomore from Evergreen, Colorado.
Beautiful mount. You
Wow.
don't see very often anymore.
It takes a lot of strength.
Press handstand, turn to staying in the split position. Really pretty. My goodness, that was a difficult turn.
You never see that in college gymnastics.
She overturned it just a touch, which caused slight bobble, but it's almost like it's worth the reward. You know, you're just like, wow.
I don't know if I've ever seen someone do that in college gymnastics. I really don't. Her career high in 9.925.
One thing, when I first started watching her, the first thing I said was, look at her feet. Her toe
Her
point
toes.
is amazing. Looks like a ballerina, the arch of her foot. Even in that beat jump, wow.
This is a hard routine.
It is.
Completely blind. Takes her eyes off the beam when she does that ring jump.
Well, I respect someone who does a hard routine. I was one who kind of did the difficult routine and everyone thought, why? And I said, because I can.
And then you got a 10.
Well, and so kudos to her.
Up next on the floor for the Sooners, Anastasia Webb.
We'll head back over to floor. Freshman Anastasia Webb, also doing the all-around tonight.
I have to say this is probably my favorite floor routine.
I might agree.
You know, I think the word that sums it up when I watch her is engaging. She sucks you into her routine.
She She really does. She was the Big 12 Newcomer of the Week this week. She's got a couple of those. Between her and Maggie, they have been stacking up those awards.
You know, her mother is Greek, and so it makes me wonder if part of this, you know, the flair of her routine and the music has a piece of that.
I believe she can actually speak Greek, too.
Oh,
Yeah.
so the question is she thinking in Greek or in English? Yeah.
Now that I don't know the answer to. But I do know her career high on floor is a 9.95, Kelly.
Well, we will have to ask her.
Nicole Lehrman with a 9.925. That's a career high for her.
Look at Maggie in the background.
I love that. The support from her teammates.
Right. And I love that they love each other's routines. I mean, you know, they're, for people who haven't been a gymnast and a teammate, they don't fully get it. But when you see it every day in practice, it's fun to just dance along with them and sing. It's just like saying, I got you. I'm right with you.
And this Sooner team really does enjoy each other's company. They are all best friends. They get along great. And then you see the support from the teammates. It's really fun to see.
Well, and I think the chemistry of every team is different. So to see that a coach has to create that also, team building events and pulling the gymnasts together throughout the year from the very beginning.
We'll head back to beam with Lauren Farley. Polina, how do you pronounce Shenikova, excuse me.
Yep.
She got a 9.9 on her routine.
Oh. So that fall will not go against them because it is their first, but it does put the pressure on the other gymnasts following.
So 6 athletes compete. 5 scores are counted towards that team score.
Gorgeous full and a half turn. She finished that in releve and complete. Really nice. I'll be curious to see on her layout what exactly she did wrong to that created the fall.
It looked pretty off.
Yeah, it did from the get-go. And there's nothing really, I mean, if you're off, there's really not a whole lot you can do. You just can't save it, especially if you're on takeoff.
On a 4-inch block of wood, it's pretty hard to get back on if you're off. And there was a lineup change, so AJ Jackson in the 5th spot. She generally goes after Maggie, but we're going to see what AJ Jackson can bring to the floor rotation in that 5 spot. She's won 3 event titles this season, 2 on the floor.
Beautiful. Her power is limitless. I mean, for her, it's controlling power. For some, it's getting power. Love this part.
Her routines are always so cool.
They are. I feel like everyone wants to get up and dance right now. I know it's not just me.
I won't leave you hanging there.
Thank you.
Anastasia Webb with a 9.9. Right before AJ Jackson, of course.
Well, the Sooners are ranked 5th on floor, and here Michigan is ranked 4th on balance beam. So it'll be interesting, that final number.
I love when meets come down to the last event. The Sooners have had a couple meets that have come down to the last event this season.
More than share than they wanted to, I'm afraid.
Probably. Fun routine from the senior.
It was really fun. Yep. And she's solid.
So Lauren Farley for the Wolverines got a 9.175. She did have that fall. Michigan hoping to rebound in this anchor spot and hit so they don't have to count that score.
That mound is my favorite in NCAA.
Wow.
This whole routine is so cool to watch.
So this is Lauren Martinez, senior out of Orlando, Florida. Member of the All Big Ten second team in 2017.
I love the wrist. I mean, she just does it looks so easy. Choreography looks great. Again, that's something bold about Michigan, is that they are going for hard skills and different skills, uniqueness that's not necessary. So that is what separates them from other teams. She's right on.
And when they hit these unique skills, the judges will reward them for doing something different generally.
Right, and it's not necessarily a 10th here or a 10th there. It's just in the back of their mind, and it shows, hey, you know, that's really what separates the good from the great, or the great from the greatest. It also makes the audience love the athlete. Sometimes you may not win the meet, but you win the audience.
Gearing up for her dismount.
Yep, another double fall. Stuck landing.
Great
Beautiful.
routine. A lot of pressure on her in that anchor spot, coming from a fall. And
That's right.
wow, she nailed it.
Yeah, it's almost like her head was in the sand. Like she didn't even know that the girl before
It didn't
fell.
look like she felt pressure at
Right.
all. And anchoring the floor lineup, the sophomore Maggie Nichols gets a big cheer from the crowd just before she goes. She already has 2 10s so far tonight.
Really? That should give you some confidence going into floor. You know, I used to always laugh and say, you know, you just can't fall off the floor. Wow, she threw it full in. Fabulous.
The first time we've seen the full in all season. I've been waiting for that for a long time. I asked her at the beginning of the season when she was going to put it in, and she said, I have no idea. It's my coach's decision.
I love how she's starting to really own this routine with her expression. Oh, that's one of my favorite things she does.
And that's new this season as well.
Right.
I wonder who came up with that pass, because that's very unique.
I think Tom Haley saw it.
Was it Tom
Yeah.
Haley?
Mm-hmm.
I believe it. I believe that.
Tom is one of the main coaches who works on the tumbling for the Oklahoma Sooners.
The other assistant, of course, Lou Ball. He works a lot with vault and bars. AJ Jackson with a 9.875 before Maggie.
She's amazing.
Heading into her last pass.
I think she's loving it. You know, she's such a gamer. She's like, just watch me. Really?
And that's an upgrade. She normally does a double tuck. She finished with a double pike.
You know, in our family growing up, there's a saying, and it's no brag, just fact. And I think that's Maggie Nichols. No brag, just fact. I'm great.
Wow. That was a fantastic routine. I love that she's had 2 10s tonight, and she's throwing harder skills on floor.
Right.
We say she can't get better, but she does.
I know, and she's such a competitor. I mean, most people are like, okay, I'll be okay with 2 10s. Can I scratch floor? You know, and here she does, pulls out the hardest routine of the season.
And before Maggie Nichols even went, the Sooners are already at a 198, without counting her score.
Oh, wow.
This right here, Sid Townsend, this is, again, an exhibition routine, so it doesn't go towards the team score of a 49.4, a great score, actually, for the Wolverines, especially with a fall. They didn't have to count it, but...
Well, they're going to be elated to already be at a 197.
100%.
So now it's just how much better of a 197.
Lauren Marina's with a 9.9, great score in that anchor spot.
Look at that, front tuck, right to an immediate beat jump.
That front tuck is what we rave about Maggie Nichols. Same skill.
Double full.
They love the double falls.
I know. Personally, I think they're easy to land because you can see that landing.
You can spot it before you land. Scores in for Maggie Nichols. She received a 9.95, so close to perfection. Would you have given her a 10, Kelly?
It's hard to say.
Now, of course, we have another exhibition. This score will not count. And this is a freshman in Jordan Draper. She hasn't quite been in a lineup yet for the Sooners this season, but she's exhibition floor a couple times, trying to crack into that lineup. But when you get a 49.5 525, that's a hard lineup to get into.
It sure is, and it's higher than their regional qualifying score. It's not quite, doesn't beat their season average, or yeah. And she's really come a long way since the first exhibition routine that she's done, so it's good to see that.
She's a showman.
Right.
And you kind of mentioned it with Brenna Dowell. It's hard to kind of, as a freshman, get into that showmanship. Once you're comfortable with the tumbling, you have to get the tumbling down first, and then you can really have some fun with it. She has the facial expressions down.
And the choreography just fits her. You know, I love that choreography right before the last pass. It's just unique. Having choreographed myself, it's sometimes hard to come up with all these different types of combinations or turns or twists. Really, really unique.
And this concludes our final round of competition. Teams and coaches.
A great final rotation for both teams, really. Before we let you guys go, we'll come back. We'll talk to KJ Kindler. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure she'll be very excited about her meet. And of course, Maggie Nichols with 2 10s. Some great gymnastics here tonight. You're watching Sooner Women's Gymnastics presented by OU Medicine.
We want to thank you for coming in.
Welcome back to the Lloyd Noble Center. Here are your final match stats brought to you by Taco Mayo Fresh Mix. Oklahoma with the win, 198.375 to Michigan's 197.175. That's about a 1.2 win. A really great win for the Sooners and a season high, Kelly, tonight for the Sooners.
It is, and I know Coach Kindler is going to be ecstatic about that, and everyone in the country is watching the Sooners to see what they're going to score. It was great not only for the Sooners, but also for the Michigan Wolverines, getting that 197-175 on the road, saying we are in to win it. Also, this is no better place than competing with the best in the country.
In Oklahoma, we did have a graphic earlier. They had the 4 of the top 8 scores. We're just going to add another one to that. Now they have 5 of the top 8 scores, and we'll look ahead to the road ahead. Has been brought to you by Central Oklahoma Buick GMC dealers, the professional grade. The road ahead women's gym 2018 schedule. 1 more home meet. That's a quad meet versus Arizona State, Arkansas, and Denver. Then the Sooners will travel to Alabama, travel to Texas women's, and of course Ames, Iowa for the Big 12 championship, and postseason action starts. The routine of the meet is, of course, one of Maggie Nichols' 10s. We had to pick a 10, and we're going to go with Maggie Nichols' beam routine.
Every time she mounts the equipment, there's no telling if she's going to score a 10 or not. There's always that possibility. I think this is going to give her that confidence to know that she could win the national championship in the all-around. She was so close last year, right?
And she did receive a 10 in the Super 6.
It's, but she has it. I mean, this team has what it takes to win a national championship. It just depends. I mean, but so does Utah, so does UCLA. It's going to be close. And so just staying healthy, being consistent, and just, like we said in the very beginning, the keys to the meet, stay the course. Stay the course.
Now, of course, Maggie Nichols, we are sticking with the theme. It's Chewy's Tex-Mex all-around champion. Of course, Maggie Nichols with a 39.9 out of a perfect 40. That's as close as you can come, just about.
I know it is just exciting. Honestly, every time I see her perform, I think she cannot get better, and then she does. We get a chance to see her right here. One of her first 10s right there. Perfect landing, Yurchenko. Look at the lift, the form, the toe point, and she spots the landing, getting her first 10 of the night. So close on the uneven bars. They have to nitpick with her to find the landing. You can see right here on balance beam, again, Maggie Does it with ease. Here's her front tuck. And then the perfect full and a half dismount. And here she throws that big tumbling pass. Her first time this season doing the full in. Middle pass right there.
Unique pass.
Front full, front layout, step out. I mean, that's the cool thing that Coach Kindler always brings.
And upgraded this last pass too, Kelly.
And it makes me wonder if she decided this during the meet or before she stepped out onto the floor, finished that double pike.
Because that's how good she is. A great meet for Maggie Nichols and really the entire Sooner team, finishing with a 198.375, I believe, a season high. Kelly, what are your final thoughts of this meet?
I think it's exactly what they were looking for both teams. And that's what's exciting is when both teams hit, it's fun to watch. It's great college gymnastics. We hope to see you guys in the stands next Friday night.
And that's senior night, their last home meet. You are not going to want to miss it. It's a quad meet. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll keep it here on Fox Sports Oklahoma, of course, but you want to get your butt in these seats, Kelly.
That's right. Sooners win.
Sooners win 198.375 to 197.175. We'll see you next time. For Kelly Garrison Funderburk, I'm Meg McDonald.